everybody doing? How is everybody's week, man?
Got a quarterback, so good.
Oh man, let's not speak too loud there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, hey, listen, I'm decent. I got Carson Wentz. He's better than Heineke. What's up, Craig?
Gentlemen, tired.
What's going on, man? Oh, you'll be all right. We're still young and vibrant, man. Still young, man. You don't get old till you're about 90.
I mean, you should be rejuvenated, Craig. Matt Rule had a front row seat at Matt Corral's pro day.
I ain't worried about that. I'm not even.
My God. Y'all better not get a quarterback.
I think they are.
Are you serious?
Good chance.
I think they are. I mean, it's not a big deal anymore. I don't even.
If you get anybody, I would get Willis and sit him behind Donald.
You could trust Donald back out there next year.
That's still high.
You don't have a choice. They don't have a choice but to put him back out there. They're paying them, so they might as well. They have to pay. Nobody's going to take them. So
I would just draft a tackle.
Sit them.
I would just draft a tackle.
I mean, this seems like common sense. That's what I would do. I mean, but if they get a left tackle, they get what's his name, Dwayne Brown, or they were trying to get him. I don't know if they still are trying to get him, but if they get him at left tackle, even though he's older,
I think he's still out there.
Yeah, he ain't got many more years left. He's 36, but I mean, if they get a left tackle, then I can see him taking a quarterback. I think they did. Their offensive line should be better this coming season than it was last year. The offensive line was terrible, so it should be a lot better with the pickups they got, and then the players that they got with free agency. They got a linebacker, they got offensive lineman. They just need a left tackle. They got a cornerback back, even though I wish they picked up Gilmore instead of Jackson, but I guess they're paying.
Sean Melvin today too.
Yeah, they did. They're paying for the younger guy, I guess, but I don't know. But I mean, they got a safety. Only thing they really need is a tight end, a quarterback, and a left tackle, and an edge rusher again. Well,
it'd be smart.
We're gonna try out Gross Matos out there.
Hold on, you said say the positions again. Quarterback.
In my opinion, I think they need a left tackle first, a quarterback second. They could use another defensive lineman to stop the run, especially.
I saw a mock draft today say y'all were getting it.
Tight end. I seen that too. I think they're trying to go out with Burns on one side and Gross Matos on the other side, but then they also got Ioannidis, even though he's not an edge rusher. They got Ioannidis. They still have they still have Derek Brown. They just need to stop the run, really. And I guess they're putting all their trust in the Gross Matos this year, unless they can find another edge rusher. I did see a mock draft where they did take an edge rusher, which I think the guy out of Georgia, I think, or something like that. I can't remember, but
yeah, I saw it was Georgia, the guy from Georgia.
Yeah, a lot of other ones that I keep saying are quarterbacks. I keep saying Kenny Pickett, and I think it's like I said, this goes back to what I've been saying the last couple of weeks, that it's the owner is from Pittsburgh. He went to Pitt. Kenny Pickett went to Pitt, and just like everybody's they're on him. So I guess he had a really good pro day. I don't know. I don't care.
Kenny Pickett, to be honest, for real, the good thing is he's played a lot of games.
I mean, I would rather just have Willis. If you're going to just pick a quarterback, I think he has a higher ceiling, and you don't have to really.
Yeah. You
can let him sit behind. Even if you bring back Cam, you can bring Cam back in for a 1-year deal or something like that. Even though you have Darnold already there, you're not going to sign Cam for big money anyway. So you have, that would be 4 quarterbacks.
You can sign Will if y'all do draft.
I forgot the Panthers still got PJ Walker.
I would let Willis sit. I know he's the 6th pick. I know. But
I just don't know how much you're going to learn from Sam Darnold if you're going to be Willis or Pickett or whatever. Maybe more so Willis than Pickett, but I think
if you draft Pickett, he's starting day 1.
That's what I mean. So I don't want to see that happen. I rather, honestly, if the best case scenario for me was just them to just pick an offensive lineman, like a left tackle. If they get an offensive lineman in free agency before the draft, then pick the defensive lineman. Then
that would Okay, before we get on the tournament,
I don't know, man.
that would actually be smart because if you get a left tackle, you're already paying Sam Darnold, and if you suck, it's a great quarterback class next year. I mean, that's what I think the Seahawks are doing, to be honest with you.
I mean, if they pick Kenny Pickett,
this
you might as well go ahead and release Sam Darnold at that point. You're already going to pay him. He's not going to start. Just get him out of it. Just release him before the season starts. Just like I think Cleveland's going to probably, they can't get some draft. Nobody's going to want to trade for him. But if Cleveland wants to trade or they can trade, then I think they need to lower their value, or they're going to have to release Baker Mayfield. It is what Panthers and the Browns are kind of in the same position. I mean, you got quarterbacks who nobody want, even though there hasn't been like a trade market for Darnold, and he's already been traded once, so nobody's want to take that again. At least Baker Mayfield hasn't been traded yet, and can try to see what he can do in a newer system. But
we could jump into that, right? So to be honest, there's no market.
No.
There's no market for Baker Mayfield. And here's the shocking thing. I thought there was going to be. We had this discussion. I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking he's like, I want to get Indy. And he was like, no. Which this, what, and I think I want to get Corey's thoughts on this, but I think Matt Ryan is an adult. He fits. He's an adult. And I think they already had Carson Wentz, and they're like, I'd rather go with somebody who plays 3 years, right? Even Matt Ryan, I feel like Matt Ryan probably will pay about 3 to 4 more years. And
at least 2, yeah.
Yeah, at least 2, right? But then Baker, he got into it with the coaching staff. I don't know if he's a locker room guy. I just know that if y'all wanted Baker, you would have traded for him. But I think Matt Ryan kind of fits you more. And I think that Matt Ryan gives you a better chance to make the playoffs.
Well, I think part of what hurts Cleveland is the fact that one, as I believe we talked last week, they started trashing Baker Mayfield publicly.
Yeah.
So it's like right there goes any leverage in a trade. 2, it sounds like they were demanding a first-round pick in exchange for Baker Mayfield, which is just absolutely insane. And 3, they waited until a good chunk of the quarterback market was settled before Baker becomes available. And when you wait that long into the offseason, you kind of sit at a point and it's like either you commit to hanging on to him and letting him be the backup, which they're not doing because they signed Jacoby Brissett to be the backup, or you essentially just give Baker away because it gets $18 million off your cap. And if that means you trade him for a 6th round pick, then so what? You got the guy you wanted in Deshaun Watson. You get rid of the cap. It works out. Like trying to actually demand and flip him for something like a more valuable draft pick just makes no sense. And Cleveland has completely botched the Mayfield situation from the start.
Yeah, because I'm thinking they're going to go, when they asking for a first is absurd.
Yeah.
Because Matt Ryan didn't go for a first. He's not Russell Wilson. Okay.
Oh.
Like, I don't understand what market. Carson Wentz went with 2/3. What did Matt Ryan go for? A third? 4th? Or was it a 4th?
A third.
A third.
Just a 3rd round pick. Straight up, yeah.
Craig, go ahead.
I'll say I think another element of this is that Cleveland can't just cut Baker unless they just want to get rid of him, because cutting him, they still take the full cap hit, just like Carolina would with Sam Darnold.
$18 million. Craig, what do you think? Think they're going to release him?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I just think if they can't find somebody who was really going to trade for him, I think you just have to suck it up and just cut him. Like, at the end of the day, if you can't find nobody that wants to actually trade for this guy, I guess they can hold on to him for how long they can. Maybe because I don't know if Baker really wants to go back to that situation with everything that's happened. No. Even if Deshaun is suspended for say 6 games, you could easily keep Baker there and have him play for those 6 games, and then before the trade deadline, try to find another, have him, go out there and maybe have 10 touchdowns and like 3 interceptions and bring up his trade stock even more than what it is. Because right now it's nothing. If he goes out there and maybe he can ball for 6 games, I doubt he's going to do it because I don't think
he's gonna kill the locker room, man. Your locker room.
I'm just trying to figure out best case scenario for the Browns. If they can't find a trade partner,
they got to release
and start of the season.
Best case scenario is trading him for like a 6th round pick and agreeing to eat half his salary. So at least you save some money, but you're going to have to pay some of his salary this year, and you're not going to get a very high.
They can afford it. Deshaun Watson they minimize his contract this year because he's going to get suspended. So they're saying Roger Goodell might wait, let Deshaun play this year and suspend him next year to get some of that money. That's what they're saying. And another thing they're saying is Roger Goodell is waiting just like Dan Snyder and trying to see if it goes swept underneath the rug. But that's stupid.
I think the NFL absolutely wants to do whatever's going to minimize the headlines.
He's trying to hope it goes away. But
when it comes to big,
it's not going away.
No,
it just lost
like
Anheuser-Busch. I wake up, I looked the other day, it lost. You're not getting any Anheuser-Busch beer. I don't think that's Coors Light or Budweiser or Bud Light in the stadium. They said they're done with the Washington football, done with the Commanders because of the allegations in a toxic workplace with women.
The radio station cut ties.
You said, huh?
The radio station in DC cut ties with the team too.
Yep. And a medical, one of their medical providers. So it's not going away. I don't know what Goodell is thinking it is, but anyway, I just, unfortunately, I know it sucks for Baker because it is nothing like being NFL will humble you quick, man.
Yeah.
Because
there were 2 teams that I thought about that might be, because right now, Carolina, Seattle are the only ones that don't have a guy penciled in right now. I think interesting options if Cleveland got desperate and was willing to take on a good chunk of his salary this year could be Detroit. I feel like Baker would get along with the head coach there.
That's what Mike Florio said.
Name I'm spacing on.
Yeah.
And I think Tennessee would be an interesting option. Because maybe do with Tannehill the same thing you did with Marcus Mariota with Ryan Tannehill. Bring in another guy just to compete. Because if you could trade for Baker and out of his 18 million, say Cleveland pays 14 of it, so you could have essentially just a veteran backup price tag on him. Worth a shot. Your championship window is closing quickly, so
I don't think Baker's going to go anywhere and be a back. I don't think he wants to go anywhere and be a backup. I think if he has his way, he'll just either get traded to. Well, I don't need to know where he can go. Either he'll get traded to Carolina or Seattle, which I doubt.
No.
Or there's like 5 teams that I can see maybe that, because there's teams that I don't think are 100% convinced that there's their quarterback. I think they're giving them one more year, like the Giants, the Texans. Who else is out there? Like the Falcons. Like I don't think these teams are convinced that they have their guy. Maybe they'll go out and draft somebody or something like that. But and then you got like Miami and Philly. Like I don't know if they're really 100% sold on their quarterbacks either. Even though Hurts just led them to the playoffs. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to be options out there. If not for this year, probably for next year. If Mr. Trubisky just got a job being a starting quarterback, and Marcus Mariota did too. I think Baker and Sam Darnold did too. I think Baker Mayfield can get another starting job sometime. If it ain't this year, it'll be next year.
It has to be.
It's got to be humbling for him, though.
It has to be humbling because he was the first pick. Same with Sam Darnold. Like, and at this point, he has to know, like, I have one more shot. Well, no, I'm corrected. He might have another one.
I think he's still young.
Because Carson Wentz got another one. Here's the thing. If this happened 2 months ago, I don't know if the Commanders don't get him.
Yeah. I think there's a good chance that if both either Ryan or Mayfield hit the market earlier, I absolutely think DC takes a shot on them before Carson Wentz.
Yeah. So, the funny thing is, Craig, what'd you say?
I'd rather have Carson Wentz than have Baker Mayfield.
That's fair.
I would. I don't think Baker Mayfield's good. I've been saying that for a while. I just don't think.
No, you don't. You know who agrees with you? Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp says he's overrated.
I think he's very overrated.
I've had a year of Carson Wentz. I'd rather have a next year be Baker Mayfield than Carson.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm looking at more and more. Somebody was like, I was just listening to this today, and I was telling Craig, they were like, Mitch Trubisky is better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. He has better wins. They're almost the same quarterback. So if you would take Baker, you would take Mitch.
I test alone.
The only difference is Baker might have a better arm, but Mitch Trubisky has a better record. They have the same completion percentage.
He's more athletic. I think he's more mobile than
Mitch Trubisky. Yeah. So just
Trubisky wasn't in Cleveland, so I'm not sure I'm gonna go on record alone.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's a lot of people that think Baker Mayfield.
Both had bad coaches. They both had bad situations. Like bad. I think Baker Mayfield had a better offense. I mean, he had a better offensive line. He had two good really good running backs.
And he had Odell.
Two good wide receivers. A solid tight end. Then he bought another tight end in there. It was, but I mean, he had two tight ends. I don't know what else you could give him. And he had a defense that was decent. I don't know.
I mean, the last 2 years, he's in a better situation. Yeah. Trubisky was in a significantly better situation the first 2 years.
Yeah, but I just think the point is they're really almost the same. And Mitch Trubisky, and this is what it's saying, Baker might go into camp as a backup.
That's what Trubisky did. Former number one pick.
That's what he did for a year.
He was second.
He went to Buffalo. He went to Buffalo. Sat for a year. Now they're saying that Pittsburgh, if Trubisky gets released, Pittsburgh is going to want him.
Want Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, that's a report. If Baker were to get cut outright, which I don't think Cleveland would do, I think Cleveland would eat most of his salary and trade him somewhere before outright releasing him and allowing him to go within the division to Pittsburgh.
Yep, they're going to eat it. They're going to be like, we're not going anymore. They're going to eat it, and they can afford it because they just pushed Deshaun Watson.
Might as well let him go. Let him go to Pittsburgh. Let him go over there and throw.
Here's the thing about Pittsburgh. They got Mitch Trubisky, so that'll be an interesting competition. The ceiling is like.
I mean, you bring them both in, yeah. You make it an open competition. Winner gets the job, and
then what if they draft Malik Willis?
You cut Mason Rudolph.
It'll be like, what are y'all doing? So,
Malik
Willis ain't going to be there for Pittsburgh, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think he was there for Pittsburgh. If you already got two veteran quarterbacks, I wouldn't take.
I just been hearing reports. Pittsburgh's like Malik Willis for a while now. I keep hearing that. I've heard it like before he even had his pro day. It's just I keep hearing it over and over again. Like, don't be surprised if he's there at 20.
Yeah, unless the buzz over Willis is just way off base versus the actual NFL evaluation, I think Willis has gone well before Pittsburgh could get to him.
Yeah.
I kept hearing people today say, why don't they just trade him to Houston? And I was like, well, if Houston really wanted Baker Mayfield, they would have traded him. Yeah. When they traded for Deshaun Watson, why would they now all of a sudden make another trade? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Oh, Baker Mayfield would have been included in the trade, but
that's what I was saying. Like, I don't understand what they were talking about. They kept saying it over and over again. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Sense.
And if I'm Houston, I saw enough out of Davis Mills last year that I'm willing to go into next year to see what you got. Because if it works out, you got your franchise quarterback. If it doesn't, you're going to have a top pick.
Yes. You're going to have a top pick with a loaded young roster. It's a win-win. Listen, we're going high. I think a lot of teams, and hopefully I'm right about Carolina, Craig, that I think there's probably around 4 or 5 good quarterbacks that teams like Atlanta, Carolina, Seattle, Houston are kind of going to be, we can maybe throw Detroit, but Detroit might trade that out. You kind of throw those looking for quarterbacks next year, and it might be a quarterback draft.
Next year?
The Giants? You throw the Giants in there too?
Giants,
or the Colts in there?
The Colts.
Or Washington in there?
Probably, yeah.
There's
it's a handful of teams.
One thing
that
I have thought about is that quarterbacks might fall this year because so many teams are looking at next year's class.
Yep.
So, but we'll see.
You better hope it's not 2016. Was it 2016?
16 with EJ Manuel?
EJ Manuel? Because there were no good quarterbacks in that class.
That entire class was just garbage.
No good
I think Mike Glennon was the best quarterback in that class.
Yeah. Was Geno Smith taken?
Yeah.
You're back.
Geno was second round.
I was surprised, Craig. I went back and looked at that draft. I was like, it has to be a good quarterback. There were none, Craig. There were none. Geno Smith, I don't even think Geno Smith is still a backup. He's in Seattle. He's good. Mike Glenn is a backup. He's good. But there's no starters, Craig.
That's it.
I was shocked. I was like, yeah, I hope this draft doesn't end up like that. That'll be that. Maybe that's why so many people, so many teams are getting quarterbacks.
Well, it's only 3 that's probably going in the first round that I can think of.
I keep looking at drafts. Yeah. They keep sliding. I would be worried if I was a quarterback because now I don't think Atlanta's going to draft a quarterback. I think they're going to go in the season with Mariota.
I mean, they did say that they were. They did say they were still interested in upgrading the position. So I don't think I would exclude them with a quarterback maybe at 8, but at the top of round 2, I could see them.
I can see. Now I can see the end of 1, top of round 2, you might see a,
run on them.
I don't. Besides Carolina, okay, Atlanta. Anybody else that needs a quarterback?
Seattle.
This year?
Seattle? I don't know, man. I think Seattle is gonna. They don't do this in the NFL, Craig. But I think Seattle's going in with Drew Lock as their starter, and they're gonna wait till next year. I'm dead serious.
Hey.
I think they're going to draft like a either offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, or like a safety in a corner, and I think they're gonna go in with Drew Lock, and they're gonna end up having like a top 3 pick next year.
They need to trade Tyler Lockett before the draft.
Yeah. Trade Metcalf.
He's
Metcalf an extension.
They need to give one of them to Seattle. Well, they're not. I mean, not Seattle, but Green Bay. Probably not going to do that.
No.
But
I mean, Lockett's. I think he's making $10 million this year. I believe he turned 30.
He's a good receiver.
But he's not necessarily a speed guy. He runs really good routes. He's quick, but I think his game is one that'll translate a little longer into his career. And you trade him for like a 3 or a 4 or something, and get some value, because if you're taking like Tyler Lockett does nothing for this year.
They're not gonna do it. They're not. They're gonna. I'm telling you, man. They're gonna. I don't think I take.
You extend Metcalf because he's young. You trade Lockett, and if you really want to tank, Drew Lock is a great way to do that.
Listen, if the reports, because think about it, why didn't they get Baker Fitzpatrick there?
I think they still might.
Baker Mayfield was going to go. I was like, okay, they got Deshaun. Baker's probably going to go to the Colts. Nope. Colts got Matt Ryan. All right, got to go to Seattle. Seattle says no, they're going in with Drew Lock.
Well, so I did see a report that Seattle was saying that Cleveland would have to eat some of Baker's salary.
So do you think they're waiting for the release?
I don't think they're waiting for the release. I think they're waiting for Cleveland to, one, have a reasonable offer. If demanding a first was even close to
wild for that.
True, because that's just insane. But I think they're trying to get the Browns to eat as much of the salary as they possibly can. Because right now, between now and the draft, there's no rush for Seattle to move. If anything, there's just a little pressure on Cleveland to get a deal done, just to clear up some cap space to get a few more pieces back in the fold with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, there's no pressure. All right, so let's talk about this tournament, man. I see Mo is killing. I was like, man, I wanted I was glad. I wanted whatchamacallit to lose so bad. I wanted Gonzaga to lose. Because I would have killed him. They would have killed him. It would have been done.
Still time.
It would have been done. I would have like, yes. But all right, so let's talk about I'm gonna name the games out. Who did y'all, who's on your first of all, man, shout out to what upsets are like games where y'all like surprised at? I was surprised at Carolina, Craig. I knew you placed a call. I knew you did. Because I was like, did you place a call? And they won. And I picked them to win.
I wasn't surprised that they won. I picked them to win.
It was close. That's I was surprised they got close, man.
The only reason why I got close is because the Manic they got thrown out the game. If he didn't get thrown out the game, they were up by 25.
Yeah, he was balling too.
So he was probably gonna go for easily 35.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they took him out of the game because they were winning by so much. But that was an embarrassing 10 minutes, man. Like I haven't been screaming that loud, or I thought I broke my laptop. I was pissed. That was and I just knew when they went to overtime that game was over, that they were going to lose. I lost all hope. So but I did because everything was going Baylor's way. Like all the momentum started to go their way. All the calls seemed to start going their way. Baycock wasn't hitting their free throws. They couldn't get past the press. But fortunately, they were able to pull it out. I don't know how they did it because they don't have a deep bench. So once Manic got thrown out, and then Love had like three charges in that game. Yeah. So
when it's tournament time, it's almost kind of like the NBA does too, where it shrinks. So you go from like, Yeah,
but then you all score a team by 25 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like it was like a 9-minute stretch there where Carolina couldn't get a foul call. Now a lot of that was from their own doing because I don't know what they were doing with that press, but they weren't setting no screens. They weren't really throwing it in. I don't know how many times Leaky Black jumped up in the air and threw it off of somebody's leg. Like, what are you doing? You can't keep putting yourself in the corner and whatever. But fortunately, they pulled it out. Now they gotta play UCLA.
So hold on before UCLA. Shout out to the bracket killer, man.
St. Peter.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest upsets
biggest upsets, man. They upset at Kentucky. They upset at Murray State.
It's got to be top 3 upsets, I think.
It has to be.
So, in my opinion, that was a big win for them. And Kentucky, they pretty much killed one of the teams that killed my bracket. I had them in a.
I mean, this is going to be interesting. So, I got the brackets up. So let's go down. All right, Gonzaga and Arkansas. I got Gonzaga, unfortunately.
I still got Gonzaga. I think they have a lot of experience.
Yeah, they do. They do. Corey, you got Gonzaga. I think you picked them to win, right? All right. Craig, Texas Tech and Duke.
I'm going Texas Tech. I think Duke is really good though, but I just think they're just too young.
I got Texas.
A lot of mistakes.
All right. We're going to the East. No, we're gonna do that. We'll do that last. Who you got? Purdue versus. Hold on. Wait.
Purdue's playing Murray State or St. Peter's. I'm sorry.
St. Peter's. Who you got?
I'm going Purdue. I 15s. They usually get to the Sweet 16, or when they do, and then they lose.
Hard. Yeah, it's hard. You gonna go Purdue?
Yeah.
I'm thinking Purdue too, man. All right. Carolina, UCLA. I'm going UCLA, man.
I picked UCLA, but I don't want to.
This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good game. I can't wait to watch it.
I gotta pick Carolina, but
yeah,
I'm not going against my team.
This is gonna be a good game.
They were supposed to play each other in the regular season, and UCLA got COVID, so
it's gonna be a good game, man. UCLA is a good. I got them going pretty far. All right, who you got with Kansas versus Providence?
I don't believe in Providence. I'm surprised they got that far.
I know. I got Kansas, man.
Yeah.
I got Kansas, man.
Coach.
Iowa State and Miami.
I'm going Hurricanes.
11s, yo.
I'm going Miami. I think Miami's a better team.
Maybe
because I'm ACC biased, but I watch them a lot. So.
Nah, I'm going Miami. Here's a good one. Yeah. Villanova, and here's the thing. I had Villanova getting upset, but Villanova versus Michigan. This is a good one. This is gonna be a really good game, man.
I like Michigan's playing a lot better. Seems like
a lot better.
I gotta go Villanova though.
I think I'm gonna go Villanova because their experience.
I hate Villanova.
Really good. They're a really good team, but this is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a really good game, man. I'm gonna watch all of them, but I'm watching the Duke one. I'm watching the Carolina. I'm definitely watching the Miami. All right, Arizona, Houston. I got Arizona. I think it's gonna be Houston plays good defense. I just don't think they can.
I don't know, man. If Arizona plays like they played against TCU,
which is crazy.
They should have lost that game.
Doing, man. But that's what happens when you're on the path in the tournament, man. It's gonna be some hard wins. All right, so right now for the Elite Eight, we got Gonzaga versus Texas Tech, Arizona versus Villanova. Craig's going UNC. I'm going UCLA versus Purdue. And Miami versus Kansas. All right, Miami versus Kansas. Who you got? Craig.
I really wish Miami would win. I'm going Kansas, unfortunately.
Kansas too, man. I'm going Kansas, man. I got them in my Final Four. All right. Who you got? Do you have North Carolina in the Final Four?
I want to because they played Purdue early this year and they lost. It was a good game until part of the way, but I think I got to go. I'm on Carolina, man. I got to pick my team, man. I'm knocking on wood and everything, crossing my fingers.
I got UCLA, man. I got so we got UCLA, North Carolina, Kansas. All right, Arizona versus Villanova. That's gonna be a really good game.
I'm taking Arizona. I picked them.
I got Arizona. It's gonna be good though. That's gonna be a good matchup. And then Gonzaga and Texas Tech. I got Texas Tech, yo. I had Texas Tech beating Gonzaga, man.
Best scenario. If at some point in time before they meet the Final Four, that's the best case scenario. Yeah. But I think Gonzaga wins. I really hope Texas Tech would beat them. I really hope Texas Tech beats Duke and then beats Gonzaga, but I think I got to take Gonzaga. I think this might be their year again, unfortunately, to get back to the championship.
So, all right, let's stay. So let's talk about Deshaun Watson, guys. So 2 things. First, it was shocking until I heard he got all his money guaranteed. What are the thoughts about him going to Cleveland, and where do they now rank in the AFC? Because he's probably going to miss 8 games next year. He's probably going to miss half the season. Might miss 10.
I don't think he misses that much.
Depends.
I think he gets 6. Everybody says he probably gets 6. I
think 6, but I think he appeals it down to 3 or 4.
Yeah, because he sat last year. That's what I keep hearing, Corey.
So I have seen that argument, and I've seen pushback that it was the Texans just made him an inactive. He still got paid. It wasn't in a suspension. so that can't count as time served, and it absolutely shouldn't.
So do you think if he would have put himself on the exemplary list, do you think that would have helped? Or could he have done that? If he would have been like, hey.
I'm not sure how that works now. I said, from my understanding, with the new CBA, it was the commissioner's exempt list was adjusted so that teams can't just throw anybody on there. You have to have some evidence of wrongdoing in order to justify putting them on that list.
I mean, 22 women, man. Anyway, that's ridiculous.
But look, when it comes to Watson, at least for me, I think it's hard, if not impossible, to discuss Deshaun Watson, the player, without also having to address Deshaun Watson's off the field stuff.
You have to. You have
to.
It's a must. I look at him differently.
Yeah.
But we gotta wait till innocent till proven guilty. So
it's.
But it's just unfortunate.
I will say it's been really unfortunate to see some of the wording and phrasing. Like the grand jury not charging him is not the same as him being found innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
It just means there wasn't enough evidence to convince them to issue charges. And the stuff he's alleged to have done without video evidence of it, it's really hard to have evidence of sexual assault and stuff like that. So
these sexual assault cases are very, very tricky and can get dragged out in court, man.
Yeah. Although when it comes to evidence, you have 22 women saying that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're just completely dismissing that. But I will say, as a Colts fan, I am very happy he's not playing for my team. I'm also disappointed to see how the Browns handled the announcements. And instead of doing a press conference and addressing the issue as soon as they acquired him, they just put out a couple of
statements, Corey.
Do that, man. And dodged it.
Come on, man.
Cowardly move on their part, but
they weren't going to do that.
But I mean, when you get to the on-field portion, yeah, he missed a year, but like he should still be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think I'd probably put the Browns tied with the Ravens for second place in the North right now, and seeing how the rest of the offseason shakes out. I'd probably put 5 or so teams. 4 to 5 teams ahead of them in the AFC right now. So I think it puts Cleveland squarely back in that playoff picture, potentially making a run versus where they would have been with Baker. But
it's going to be crazy.
It's
this AFC. Corey, the AFC is tight. Y'all can't lose to Tennessee twice, man.
Our path to the playoffs is winning the South.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for the South.
Yes. What you think about Deshaun Watson, Craig, going to Cleveland?
I mean, I don't really care, but I mean,
would you have cared if he went to Carolina?
Well, yeah, I would have cared. I mean, that's my team. As far as him going to Cleveland, like, I don't know who said the statement that he wasn't going or the team was out of the running. Then all of a sudden they were back in. I don't know what that was about. So, but I'm happy that he's going to be back on the field.
You know what, Craig? That's a lot of people that said it. And then,
well, it was true.
It came back that he was like, "Well, I like the roster, and they offered him $8 million."
That's why that's the way it sounded. I said Ben Albright talked about it on Twitter. He said like Deshaun Watson did inform the Browns and Panthers that they were out, and it was down to Atlanta and
Saints
and New Orleans.
Yeah.
But then Cleveland kept pursuing, potentially because of the whole Baker Mayfield situation they created. And once they offered a fully guaranteed contract, that's what made him make the decision for Cleveland.
I would have made
it. I'm glad he's not going to the Falcons or the Saints if he wasn't coming to the Panthers. So that's a win in itself, I guess. Because once Tom goes away again, then
he only got one more year.
Whichever team he was going to be on would be, I think, the de facto best team in the NFC South. So as long as they got pieces around him, which you got Deshaun Watson, why not put some pieces around him? So, but I think the Browns made a good move. The quarterback is definitely better than Baker Mayfield and what they had. They brought in Cooper to go along with that quarterback there. So, and they still have the same running backs, still have a really good offensive line, solid defense, so they can bring back maybe Jarvis Landry or something like that. I know there was talks with him going back. I think they signed Grant as another wide receiver, I believe, or somebody like that. So they don't really have a good number 2, but if they can go out and maybe sign one of these free agents out there that's still out there, especially Landry, he already knows.
Landry said he might come back. Odell said he's thinking about it. I mean, they're gonna get.
Odell's gonna be out for a while though.
A good chunk of the season, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't even know what. And I think the Rams still said they want to sign him again or re-sign him back. So, but I think it's a good move. Like I said, the Browns need to get out of that situation that they were in. Deshaun needed to get out of his situation. It's I mean, he's I don't know as far as like the road less traveled. That's not the way he want to go about it because he's in a tougher conference. If he went to the NFC with at least the Falcons or the Saints, he would have had an easier time and been maybe like the third or fourth best team.
If he went to Carolina, Atlanta, or the Saints,
Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta, I think still would have
been
a borderline playoff.
He still would have ruled though. I mean, there were a couple pieces. There's nobody in the NFC.
I mean, eventually, once Tom goes and Aaron goes, they're both older, obviously, and then it's going to be him and Stafford. It would have been him and Stafford for the most part, unless they get some up and coming quarterbacks, or maybe they get somebody that's in the AFC to come over or something like that. But I just think that the move was good for his part in terms of him getting out of that situation. But in terms of trying to win and make a Super Bowl and all that, he could have went to the NFC and been better off, in my opinion, at least in the long run. Maybe not for, especially with like Atlanta, like Corey said, like in the next couple years, they'd have been probably struggling. But down the road, if they start building around him, I think it'd have been fine. I think in terms of the oh my God, in terms of the conference, like I probably got like 5 teams ahead of them still, maybe 6 teams ahead of them still. It just depends on, like, I'm still trying to figure out what's up with the Chiefs, what they're going to do. If they can get another wide receiver there to help out Patrick Mahomes. And,
we're gonna talk about that later. That thing.
See how everything fits with all these other teams as well. And you got the Ravens, see what they do if they can get everybody back, and then they still need a receiver. They haven't had a receiver there since I don't even know. It's been years. Season was older, but I can understand that one.
He's the best receiver they've had.
Yeah.
Probably Steve Smith.
15 years.
Yeah. It's probably been a while since they actually had a good one. But I think they have a chance to make the playoffs at least this year versus last year. Just unfortunate that everybody, like, there's like a 10-team, 11-team. It's gonna be crazy right there. And 2 of those, at least one of those teams, are coming out of the NFC or the AFC North, AFC South. I'm sorry. So that's gonna take away one spot. And the rest of the teams are gonna, like, the AFC West is gonna beat up on each other. The AFC North is gonna beat up on each other too.
Yep.
I mean,
I don't know. Here's the thing, though. Cleveland has a really good roster, though. They got a really good offensive line. They got 2 really good running backs. They got Donovan Peoples and Joku.
Yeah, Peoples-Jones is a solid receiver.
Peoples-Jones is a solid receiver, and they have Cooper. Man, that roster, it's not. And their defense is good. Their roster is good, man.
Don't sell me on Donovan Peoples.
It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be, those missed games might matter, and it depends.
I'm not drafting.
You said what, Craig?
I won't be drafting Donovan Peoples-Jones in fantasy.
Well, I mean, last year was just a loss for any Cleveland Brown in fantasy.
Yeah.
Even the back.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's gonna be very, very interesting. It is. I'm not even gonna lie. The AFC.
I don't even know if there's any must-see games from the NFC that I want to see. Like NFC team versus NFC team. I don't even know who plays.
Outside of the top 3?
I mean, I'm gonna
I
watch
don't even know
my
if they're
team.
playing each other though. 'Cause I don't know if the Bucks are playing the Packers or the Packers are playing the Rams.
I don't know.
But even still,
Well, I mean,
well,
the Rams, Packers, they all three do have to play each other because they're all division winners, right?
Yep.
The Bucks won. Yeah, they did. You're right. Yeah.
Bucks won the division.
Okay,
Packers
well,
won.
I'm still not interested.
Won, right? No. Who won?
Maybe Brady, Aaron Rodgers for the last time.
The Rams won.
Yeah,
Yeah, they hosted the playoff game.
Yeah. Rams won. They did. They hosted the playoff game. Yes. The AFC is going to be, oh my goodness, Lamar versus Deshaun, Russell Wilson versus Herbert, Josh Allen versus Mahomes. Oh, this is going to be crazy. And then you have the Colts, you have Tennessee, you have Miami, you have Pittsburgh. That's why Pittsburgh, they might be out.
Somebody's gonna be out. I think when
Patriots might be out. This is real.
I think when Mo said that the coach should be fired for the Dolphins, they don't make
Dolphins.
No,
I disagree with that.
I disagree.
No.
If this was the same team and they had Hill last year and they didn't make the playoffs and they had the same coach and everything like that, I can understand get that consideration to fire the head coach because
it's crazy, man.
AFC wasn't like that last year. Or even if the Dolphins were in the NFC this year coming up, and they didn't make the playoffs, they're not gonna say, okay, you know what?
Fire another coach, like you just hired him. You gotta give him some time, man.
AFC is just too deep, man. Like even if they don't make the playoffs, but they finish like 10-7 or something or 9
record.
Like come on, man. You can't fire the guy. It's just too many better teams, in my opinion.
Listen, and I don't know if y'all agree, but I like to allow a head coach like 4 or 5 years. It's a very difficult position. I'm a big guy with patience. I think Craig,
for the most part, yes.
Yeah, like I think Craig, what's your rule? 3 years for a rookie quarterback?
Yeah, I'll give him 3 years.
Yeah,
before I make a judgment on if they can play or not.
Yeah.
Like
that's your opinion. Yeah, 3 years is a good for a rookie quarterback. I think that is a good testament if they stop.
I would say 3 to 4 years for a coach with an asterisk that.
Yeah.
For a case like Steve Wilkes in Arizona or Urban Meyer, someplace where the coach is very clearly in over their head, 1 year and done. Don't waste the time. But
talking about he didn't know who Aaron Donald was.
I can't believe that. I know
he's insane.
Well, no, here, Greg.
Mind that, man.
Greg just
he has to know who Aaron Donald. Come on.
He says he just paid attention to college football. Some people don't watch the NFL. Some people are all in the college, and he's college.
Aaron Donald, he went to college though. So I'm
not defending him.
It's not like he's been in the NFL for like 10 years. He just came in like 2017 or 16 or something like that. Wasn't that long ago. I gotta check, but it wasn't that long ago.
Nah, he's been in the league maybe 6-7 years. He's still like, which is scary. He's still like, I think he'll play dominant.
2014.
Oh, okay. Well, a little bit longer than I thought. Damn it.
Yeah. He's been. The reason you think that is because he's been dominant for like. The stretch is crazy. Like 7 All Pros. I don't think he's really done that often.
I don't think Urban Meyer. I think he's dumb, but I don't think he's that dumb.
That is a special kind of stupid.
And it wasn't just Aaron Donald.
There's no way he should have been.
It was other players too.
I saw it. I'm saying, but if that was the case, then there's no way that he should have made it past that statement after that. He should have just been out there, right? Let him go right there after that. If you don't know who Aaron Donald is, there's no. Why are you here?
That's ownership, man.
Well, the owner is delusional.
Well, they got Doug Peterson, and I mean.
He's got too much going on. The owner does.
I think Doug Peterson's a decent head coach.
All right, coach.
So it'll be there. Trevor Lawrence, and you got to see. I think they're trekking the right way. But this is what I want to ask: Deshaun Watson, does he? He had $230 million guaranteed. Does he reset the quarterback market? Do you think Kyler?
I mean, I don't think you can unring that bell.
I think he
I mean,
does. Man. I think
Lamar's coming up next year, I
that's
think.
guaranteed.
So
Yeah.
he's MVP.
Yeah,
And
he
to
won
me,
MVP.
more I would rather have him maybe than
And if they're good, if they're good the way that a lot of people are picking the Ravens to be, and they go deep in the playoffs, sheesh, man, they're gonna have to pay.
somebody's gonna have to pay.
Ravens not letting them go. If they see what they are without them, I mean they can. I just think we just had this conversation last week. It's so hard to find a franchise quarterback, man. My team knows.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Washington hasn't had a good quarterback since
Kirk Cousins, and he wasn't that good. He was an average quarterback.
yeah,
But that's who we have to say.
I guess.
There's no guess, Craig. Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback we had. And he was average. That's how hard it is to find him.
James, I think the question after this Deshaun Watson deal and after Kirk Cousins having back-to-back guaranteed contracts is more so is will we see another top-end quarterback sign a deal that isn't fully guaranteed?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Now you've had two that have done it.
Yep.
Can you walk that back again?
Kirk Cousins, Deshaun, Kyler, and
Lamar are going to be the next two up.
Because surprisingly, Mahomes didn't take that. See, Josh Allen took more of like what Josh Allen take a 3-year or 5-year. Mahomes took a 10-year deal. 10 years, man. I mean, it's $500,000, but I mean, quarterbacks are going to start getting paid $50 million. I was listening to the Odd Couple podcast, and they were like, which is crazy, right? It's not though, Craig. It's coming. So they were like, can you imagine in 5 years, Patrick Mahomes is like the 15th paid quarterback? That's going to be crazy, man. I don't know. Where's coming from?
Gonna sign that baseball deal. She'll just sign a 3 or 4 year deal and then re-upped. You see what these baseball players, but their baseball players are fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
There's no salary cap in baseball, so.
And I think the NBA is fully guaranteed as well. I don't think the only way the NFL moves towards that if it's a 3-year contract or 2-year contract, guaranteed, or 1 year. They're not going to do the 5-year guaranteed.
You look at the arms race in the NFL when it comes to the quarterback position, and teams desperate for getting a guy. I mean, Washington. Look at what they gave up to get Carson Wentz because they feared he was the best option available for the offseason. I don't know if we see another quarterback get a non-guaranteed deal. And I think we're on a path to eventually they're going to have to adjust the CBA to address quarterback salary specifically.
It's gonna have to come down there. And Josh Allen he signed a 6-year, $258 million contract.
How much of that is guaranteed though?
$150 million. And he had a $16.5 million sign-up bonus, and they said 100 and
that's less than 30 million.
150 guaranteed.
Well, if it's to 6 years, I mean.
You know how those quarterback contracts. Oh, here it is. They break it down. So he gets the base salary. Here it is. The base salary is in 2021, $10 million. Then in 2022, this year is going to be $16 million. Then in 2023, the base salary is $27 million. He already got the signing bonus, which they included, right? He has an $8 million option, 500,000 workout. It shoots to $39 million. Then in 2024, it's at 41. Then in 2029, it's at $51 million. And then
Which he won't actually play that year of that contract. It'll get redone.
he's going to get redone by 2025 because they say in 2026 it'll start being a dead cap, which means I doubt if the way he's playing, and they're probably going to try to they're probably going to redo his contract in 2025. So this is just the way it's going. I mean, these guys are getting paid, man. And I mean, as they should, they're putting their bodies on the line, and they're getting paid.
Quarterbacks are a little less than everyone else, but
they're getting paid, man.
they get those special rules to prevent them from taking those hits.
Yeah.
He's not doing nothing with it.
And then we got here we go, Corey. Matt Ryan to the Colts. Out of the AFC, where do the Colts rank?
I think it puts Indianapolis on par with like Cleveland and Baltimore.
Okay.
I think if the Colts can get another wide receiver in this offseason, depending on what they do in the draft, I think they're definitely on par with those teams. Most importantly, I think it puts them squarely in line to win the AFC South. I mean, that's the goal. The team hasn't done it for a embarrassing long time at this point. You win the South, you host a playoff game, and once you're in the playoffs, who the hell knows? Anything can happen. So, you look at the South. Tennessee adding Robert Woods, I thought was a good move. But he is also a 30-year-old wide receiver coming off a torn ACL, so who knows if he'll look quite the same. They haven't really done anything else. Derrick Henry's a year older. Ryan Tannehill's still their starting quarterback. So I think the Colts are in a really good position. I did listen to Matt Ryan's introductory press conference the other day, and it was kind of interesting to hear how things shook out. He said Atlanta was completely professional through the whole process. So it looked like the reports were true. Atlanta went to Matt Ryan and his team ahead of time, told them they were going to pursue Deshaun Watson. But apparently Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, the Watson news broke.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night, Matt Ryan had a Zoom call with the Colts brass. So the owner, Irsay, the GM, Chris Ballard, Frank Reich. And essentially it was, the Colts able to sell Matt Ryan on coming to Indianapolis. And then Atlanta, let Ryan make the decision if he wanted to stay and play for the Falcons or if he wanted to get traded to the Colts.
Which he deserves.
Yeah. Atlanta's taking a $40 million cap hit this year to trade him. Kudos to them for, doing right by him on that.
Yeah. It's like the Lions were right about Stafford, man.
Yep. Yeah, and Matt Ryan made a comment that players know how good other teams are. They look around the league, they can see how rosters look. So I think it was a Ryan saying without saying, he knows how bad the Falcons roster is.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You look at Indianapolis's, and obviously
roster.
He wants a shot to go win.
Yeah, it's a great roster. Number one running back. I think you need a receiver.
Yes. Maybe if Devontae Parker hits the market, because he would be fourth on their depth chart right now. I would love for Indy to do that. I'm on team John Mechie at pick 42 for Indianapolis. I think he falls out of the first round because of the ACL. I think he'll be fine because guys rebound from ACL injuries these days. And if you can get a first round talent in the second round.
Yeah. And Ballard does that. He gets people that.
Yeah. I will say another part of the Matt Ryan interview and also listening to Chris Ballard on Pat McAfee yesterday. I think Matt Ryan's presence in the locker room had a lot to do with them pushing to get Matt Ryan. Ballard talked a little bit about just, having a right fit, and Wentz just wasn't the right fit in Indy. And Matt Ryan, when asked about his leadership style, came out and was like, everyone, responds differently to a leader. So, you got to get to know your locker room and know how people need you to interact with them. And, Matt Ryan said like one of his top goals is to be a good teammate, which I don't think that was at the top of the list for Carson Wentz in Indianapolis. So I think Ryan's got enough in the tank for a couple of years. Colts did restructure and give him guaranteed money next year to clear some more cap space. So they're just shy of 30 million in cap space right now. So they can still make another move if they want. But yeah, I'm on board with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was he just fits. He fits Indy.
Yeah.
And when I seen it, I was like, oh, okay. I can see Matt Ryan. He's 37. He still wants to play. He's a good locker room guy, doesn't make too much noise, handles himself professionally. Just seems like he fits Frank Wright and Chris Ballard and Irsay's. Just feels like he's a Colt. Like he just comes in there, a lunch pail guy. Comes in there, does his work.
I'll also say Kenny Moore, who is one of the more respected guys in the Colts locker room. Somebody noticed on his Twitter account that Kenny had liked a tweet bashing Baker Mayfield and one praising Matt Ryan. So I think it's also a situation where the Colts locker room and roster, they're paying attention to everything going on. And I think they were behind Matt Ryan as well.
You're saying that, wait. Are you saying that Kenny Moore liked the tweet where somebody was bashing Baker Mayfield? Saying
yes.
That I'm just saying, man. I might be leaning on Team Craig on Baker Mayfield, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's very surprising. What do you think? Craig? No, I'm just thinking it's just for Baker. It's like I'm just surprised the team was.
It's not surprising.
I thought one or two teams would. That's just.
It's not surprising to me for Baker Mayfield.
Where the Colts rank, Craig?
I mean, all the Colts really have to do is just win their division. I mean, it's pretty much a two-horse race at this point. At least coming up for this season, maybe Jacksonville or Houston can be the Bengals or something of last year or whatever. I doubt it, but they just had to win their division. I think they got another good quarterback. The Colts seems like every time I look at it, they have a good quarterback. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, or like at least a veteran quarterback. Carson Wentz, and now Matt Ryan. They had Brissett in there too for a little bit, but like for the most part, they've had like well-known, big-name quarterbacks. I just think that they definitely just need a wide receiver to go along with Pittman. And finally, Matt Ryan gets what seems to be a long time a running back. He hasn't had a good running back
and a good offensive line
in a long time. So, or offensive line, right? So at least he gets that. He doesn't really have to do too much at 37. He's not as mobile as he used to be, obviously, but he's still a good quarterback. He can still make good throws. He's back in a dome again, so he doesn't have to go like Deshaun is going from a dome to outside or whatever it is. So I think it's a good fit. I'm glad he's not in the South anymore. I don't have to see him anymore as a Panthers fan, but obviously he's a well-respected quarterback. I haven't heard anything out of Matt Ryan like the whole time he was in Atlanta, even when he was going against Carolina or whatever it is. Like there was really nothing there. I guess the only thing that's on his legacy, I guess, besides he got an MVP, is the negative 28-3. But I think he has a bunch of time to go back in and figure it out and make the corrections and come back this season better, because I think this is a better situation for him than being in Atlanta. I don't know what was going on there. Even if he stayed in Atlanta right now, no Ridley, no Gage. Only really two people they have is Patterson and Kyle Pitts. Other than that, like on both sides of the ball, they have nobody. So it's good for him to get out of the situation. I'm happy for him that he got to make something else out of the rest of his career, and he doesn't have to just waste away in Atlanta for the next 3, 4, 5 years or whatever it is he has left on his NFL career. So hats off to him, man. Like I'm happy for him.
Yeah, like I said, I think he I think he just he fits it, man. I think that he's gonna be really good with the Colts. And yeah, that's between you and Tennessee.
I do think Matt Ryan has more of an arm left than what Phillip Rivers did in his year in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think Ryan is more in line with Rivers in that he's a lot more accurate than what Wentz or Brissett were. Throws with anticipation, is able to throw his guys open more.
You're getting them younger, I think, than Phillip Rivers.
I think a year younger. 39? Year or two, maybe, yeah. But another thing that both Ballard and Reich talked about was very much wanting a quarterback in place to be at the OTAs and off-season workouts and ready to go for training camp because they haven't had a guy able to do that the last few years. So,
speaking of quarterbacks, Jimmy G. Does he stay in the 49ers?
That well is drying up on him. Like, I don't know where he can go. All the teams that were talked about him getting traded to, Tampa Bay, I heard Pittsburgh, they're all gone. And he's not going to Seattle. They're not going to trade him there. So Carolina doesn't want him. I hope they don't go after him.
Hold on, let me ask you this, because I heard Peter King said this. He said trade trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Sam Darnold. Would you take that?
Yeah.
Sam Darnold would be the backup to Trey Lance, right? And then y'all would get Jimmy.
I take it, but I wouldn't feel good about it because I do think Garoppolo is a better quarterback, but man, he gets hurt.
Yeah, but you would feel good in the NFC with Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's in the NFC now. I don't think he's that good, but I think he's better than Sam Darnold. If that makes sense. It's going from Sam Darnold to Deshaun Watson. You're going from Sam Darnold to Baker or to Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not like a big improvement, but I mean, in terms of his record is good, but his play on the field, he doesn't wow me. Like, there's no eye test passing throws that he makes. So like, oh, I got to have that guy on my team playing quarterback or whatever it is. I just don't see it. So I'm still not convinced that he's a really good quarterback, but I don't know if he leaves or gets traded from San Francisco because their hands are kind of tied here. He got surgery or whatever. Did he get surgery? He got surgery, right?
Yeah,
so
on the shoulder.
You won't be ready to throw until.
But I mean, who wants to? He had to see him. I would assume still see if he can throw the ball and get out there and make plays or whatever it is. And then I just don't know what team is going to trade for him at this point.
Yeah, they said that they're waiting. They're gonna wait. They're gonna wait it out. Somebody's gonna get hurt, or we see it every year. They say they're gonna wait.
Yeah. But if he doesn't get traded, is he the backup now?
To be honest, I think if he doesn't get traded, that's a tough one, man. I don't know if they go into the season with him a starter.
Is that a tenable situation in that locker room? Trying to bring Garoppolo back next year?
I don't know, man. That's tough.
That's weird, man.
That's weird.
That's like the Baker Mayfield thing almost, except they didn't really try to.
I think Jimmy G.
Except San Francisco came out and said that, yeah, we're going to move you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy G is more of a professional than Baker Mayfield. Like, I think if Jimmy G comes back, he accepts the role and wants to win. That's what I think. I think if Baker goes, he's bitching and moaning to start. That's what I think. I think Jimmy.
I don't know if he's going to accept the fact that, hey, I took this team to the playoffs last year, and now I'm all of a sudden the backup to a second-year guy who didn't even play a lot.
He kind of do that when they traded for him.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying, as far as
but
maybe his mentality is like, I did all this last year, and I went into Lambeau Field and beat the MVP of the season, blah, blah, blah. Even though, like, maybe it wasn't all him. They scored the only touchdown off of a block punt. But I mean, like, he might have that in his head. Like, I did all that last year, and now you guys are starting to trade Lance over me. Like,
Unfortunately, where does he go?
That's the thing is,
I don't know.
San Francisco's probably like, hey, Jimmy, we gotta. It's not. Listen, it's nobody.
How bad did they screw this up?
He had that shoulder surgery, man. I think that teams were scared of that. You know, because they were only they were talking about a third. They were like, hey, we could do a third.
And the report I saw was that teams calling about Garoppolo. Lynch was telling him he already had a deal in hand for 2 seconds, and so that's where negotiations started.
That's what I heard.
took that deal.
That's what I heard.
I think if that was actually true, they would have said yes and made the deal. But gun to my head, I would have to say Carolina just because. Where else?
Yeah.
Like, even with Carolina, if the owner is adamant for a quarterback as it seems in the draft, like say they draft Cody Pickett or even Malik Willis, is Garoppolo going to want to go to essentially the exact same situation as he's in San Francisco?
He's going with
do the Niners think so little of Garoppolo they would trade him within the division?
Right. So I think, man, I don't know. I think they're going to wait it out. Here, I was watching.
They have to, though, at this point.
Yeah, I was watching The Herd, and Joy Taylor was like, Colin, do NFL GMs lie? He said they lie? So they lie so much? NFL GMs lie so much you don't know if they tell. Like, it's ridiculous. She was like, even to the media? Yes, to anybody.
Oh, especially
to everybody, man. Doesn't matter. They lie. So I don't know what's going on. I think a lot of teams are weary of the shoulder surgery. But I think he'll find a team.
I'm just weary of.
It's a weird situation. It's a weird situation. I mean, do you bring him back and have him start over Trey Lance?
I don't think you can. I don't know how that works. Another year of them together like that.
Yeah, the locker room was behind Jimmy G, so I don't know. It'll be interesting.
But if there's any struggle from Garoppolo, then like, do you start like pulling the trigger on benching Garoppolo, sending out Lance, and then have potential musical chairs?
Yeah, then then it's like
he's on par to miss a bunch of games this year. 2018 he played 3, 19, 16, 2020 he played 6, 2021 he played 15. So he's probably due to miss a bunch of games again this year.
That's the way
going back and forth.
So I mean, we'll see. Anyway, we're gonna talk about this Tyreek Hill. Craig, you surprised he got traded? This cool. It came up out of nowhere.
I was at work, and I normally have the tracker on my screen, one of my screens, and I just wasn't looking. I was doing something else. I was working, and then I happened to look at it, and I saw these like Twitter things like Deshaun. They were comparing him to Mostert, and they were saying he's this fast or whatever it is, and he's this fast. So man, I didn't think nothing of it, and then I went out to my phone. And I saw you guys text, and I was like, "There's no way." So I went back inside. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. I didn't know that there was even any type of rumor that he was going to get traded, or they couldn't come to an agreement on his extension or nothing. I didn't see none of that coming. So that just threw me all off, and I didn't have a clue. And then I had to go to ESPN to actually confirm it and then it was on the front page. So, and that was like 30 minutes later after you guys had already started talking about it. I was way out of the loop, but.
Twitter, man.
Man, you just you go out there and you finally get a number 2 ish in Juju, and then
that offense was about to be crazy.
I mean, Juju has had his best seasons when somebody has been the number 1, like a really good, like Brown when he was the number 1. Juju has had like some really good seasons when he was the number 2 guy.
Yeah, I mean,
last year he was hurt
a long time ago.
I'm just saying, last year he was hurt, but I'm saying it's like. I wanted to see what he was going to do as the number 2 or even the number 3 with Kelsey there, and him not getting all the looks, and maybe they're double teaming Hill, and then he's whatever.
Oh, he would have killed him fantasy, but don't pick him this time.
I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do now because all the wide receivers for the most part are signed up.
Yep.
So I'm thinking it's kind of hard, but I had the Chiefs winning the division again. I can't do that right now until they figure out what they're gonna do with the wide receiver spot.
I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. And
one person I can think of, and he sucks is Julio Jones. Because I don't think Jarvis Landry's going to that team unless they can finally trade for somebody like if they trade for Lockett.
Julio gets those soft tissue injuries, man.
They got all them picks, so maybe they can trade for Lockett. He does, and Julio he's just old now, so I don't think he's that good anymore. But they're gonna have to trade for somebody.
Fine, he just can't. He keeps getting soft tissue injuries.
Green Bay and Kansas City, like I have no those two teams have just fallen off with just one player each on their offensive side is just gone.
It's a wrap.
I have no clue.
In this league, you need receivers.
Taylor Lockett to Kansas City would be real interesting.
Lockett would be good for that team.
Yeah,
I think
they could trade it. Somebody was saying that Green Bay could trade too.
they both have picks though.
Both of them have picks, so Green Bay can trade. I don't know. They said it's a really deep. Rick Spillman. It
is, but
was on the interview and he was like,
I don't know, man.
He said that this draft, he was talking about the Green Bay and now the Chiefs because of Tyreek Hill, which came out of nowhere. But once again, that's the it's not even the Devontae Adams effect. It's the D-Hop effect. That $27 million, he reset the market, and Tyreek said, I want that because I'm better than D-Hop. Right? Well, D-Hop was hurt. I don't know. I like D-Hop, but numbers don't lie. Tyreek's like, look what I put up, all pro. I need my money. Devontae said the same thing. The reason that, now this is surprising. The reason the Packers traded Devontae, they did good by him, and they didn't want the same thing with Rodgers. So maybe that's why Rodgers and Devontae Adams posted the last dance because they knew that this was Devontae's last year. Right? And Devontae probably was like, I don't want to do Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go home and play with my friend. Packers is like, let's just trade. Right? The Chiefs didn't want to pay that money. They were like, listen, man, we can't. We can't pay you this money. We gotta let you go. And that's gonna hurt Patrick Mahomes. But people keep saying there's a lot of receivers in this draft. We're gonna see.
I mean, if you can get a Jamar Chase or Jason Watt,
if they get a Justin Jefferson type in Kansas City.
Justin Jefferson's another one. If you can land a really good receiver,
yeah. Maybe
even Devontae. Devontae didn't. I mean, he has not a good quarterback. He doesn't.
Third round pick, yeah.
Like there's some receivers out there. I think it's just I don't know if you really want to. I guess I don't know if you're the Chiefs and you're going to the AFC Championship game all the time. You're going to bring in now a rookie wide receiver to be number 1 or number 2 or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it did work for the Bengals, but like the
work for the Bengals.
They're not getting it, Jamar Chase,
right?
But also, it worked for the Vikings too.
That status either.
It worked for the Vikings. I was surprised, but that's so rare. They traded Stephon, and they got Justin Jefferson. I don't know if the Chiefs or Green Bay is going to do that. I'm just saying, it's hard. I don't think Green Bay doesn't have receivers. It's hard, man. So that is Minnesota. That's all Rick Spillman right there. That is their scout team. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still surprised Minnesota got rid of them, but that's neither here nor there. I think they had a good roster. I understand Mike Zimmer, but I like Rick Spillman. So he made some really good picks. He made some really good picks. We'll see. I mean,
you got the Dolphins.
Huh? Where the Dolphins? I don't.
Competing for the 7 seed?
I think so too. I just think it's just because of their quarterback. They don't have.
Yeah, see, now here it goes. He goes from Patrick Mahomes.
They got Armstead too?
Yeah, they got Armstead too. So here's the thing. So 2 people said this. Nick Wright said this. He said that teams are trying to load up like the Rams, and it's not going to work out for everybody.
No.
It's not. It's going to backfire in some cases. It's not going to work. It's not going to work out. It's not like it's. We've seen the NBA this year. It didn't work out. Both squads kind of are going to blow it up. The Lakers and the Nets didn't work out.
I don't think the Nets are gonna blow it up.
Well, they did with Harden. With Ben
Oh yeah, okay.
Simmons.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right.
Westbrook probably not going to be. That's what I'm saying. Like it didn't work out. So I don't know. And Tyreek Hill, you have to understand. Tua is not Mahomes. It's going to get real.
He's going to learn that the hard way.
Going to learn that the hard way.
I mean, it was between them and the Jets, though. So I mean, would you have wanted to play in New York or Miami? And Miami is no state.
There, I think he's from Miami.
I'd rather play in Miami.
I think he's from Miami.
Apparently, he has a home in the offseason in Miami. Yep. So
yeah, he hangs around.
Right at home.
He hangs around Chad Johnson and TL. All them train in Miami, man. It's nice. It's nice to hang around. You can train in. You got to think when the off season starts in January. It's nice in Miami. It's 70. Mm-hmm. You can go down there and train. I know this because I have family from there at West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. I go down for Christmas. It's 70, 80 degrees. So it's just a good place to train for NFL players. You know, it's nice. Weather's beautiful. I'm talking about like no rain, beautiful. It's nice down there. Like Florida.
Nobody likes a bragger, man.
It's not Florida's, but I'm telling you, man, I might try to get a.
Yeah, I don't think 80 degrees in December sounds great at all.
But so I got man the 7th, but I don't know. Corey, what'd you think?
I think for Kansas City's perspective, it does make sense. If Tyreek Hill was adamant to be getting $25 million a year, are you really going to commit to giving a long-term contract, 4 to 5 years, to a 28-year-old wide receiver whose game is built on speed?
Nope.
That speed's going to go at some point. And that's a big financial commitment if you're still paying him on the wrong side of that. And how many years now in a row have we had it come out and be like, yeah, it's really good, really deep wide receiver class coming out. So yeah, you take the picks, you draft a receiver. You know, if you get a Wilson or an Olave or something like that, and yeah, it hurts productivity likely this year, which is possibly going to compound things for the team, because I didn't realize it until looking at stuff with the Tyreek Hill move that roster's looking really different.
They're gonna triple Kelsey, man.
Kelsey, he's a year older. He's going to get a lot more attention.
Yes.
Juju is a good possession type guy, but like, is Mecole Hardman now going to be your consistent deep threats? The running back position is still a bit of a question mark. Then on defense, you're losing Tyrann Mathieu, who was the heart of your defense. They've lost a couple of other starters along the defensive line. Their linebacking core is not great. They lost at least one starting cornerback. Mm-hmm. And the defense also already had a lot of struggles last year. Mm-hmm. So now you throw in losing some of those starters with the rest of your division arming to the teeth. And you're going to need to outscore some teams and then giving up one of your best offensive weapons. I know the expectation is Patrick Mahomes is going to elevate the play of those around him, but like you still got to give him someone to throw to, because right now the depth chart is
bad.
Juju, Mecole Hardman, and Josh Gordon.
You're not
rely on Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon is unreliable.
Yeah, they're not beating Buffalo.
Didn't they sign Corey Coleman?
Yep.
Yeah.
They've got him.
League it seemed like forever.
Yeah, so Corey Coleman had like one good season.
I think he went 6 in his
one good season.
He hasn't done anything.
To Cleveland, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's bounced around the NFL a bit. I think he was in Washington for a bit, the Giants. Like, he's kind of bounced around everywhere. He's a first-round talent, so he's getting multiple opportunities. But like,
it's tough.
Yeah, is Corey Coleman and Josh Gordon really what you're going to fall back on at wide receiver this year?
I think they're going to
rely on either one of those guys.
I think they're going to draft a receiver. I think they're going to load
I think
up.
they take 2 in the first 3 rounds.
I think they take 2. Same with Green Bay. I think so.
Because was it a 1 and a 2 this year that Kansas City got?
Yep. And
So
then
that
they got
means
like a 4th.
they'll have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. I think 2 of those go wide receiver.
2 go wide receiver. They're gonna listen. They're gonna have. It's gonna be some good depth. It is. It's just interesting.
I saw an interesting stat today. 1/4 of NFL teams do not have a first round pick this year.
Woo! Let's see what it is. The Rams, Miami, the Raiders, San Francisco,
Indianapolis.
No. Buffalo got theirs.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh,
Rams. The Rams have the first round pick, right? Who else am I missing?
Seattle has theirs.
Broncos.
Yep.
Broncos don't have their first round pick.
Who's the second one that Philadelphia has? They have theirs, the Colts, and they have somebody else's.
the Dolphins.
The Dolphins. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins. Chicago. The Giants have their first round pick. Wow. First round pick's overrated.
You got the Chiefs picking no wide receivers in the first round.
I gotta look at the mock. I mean, I gotta give the mock drafts a couple days. So I'm gonna go back and look. I'm gonna start looking at them probably this weekend.
Yeah,
I gotta
at the rate stuff's been happening.
They got it updated. It's updated.
I've seen one that was updated. I've seen one that was updated. They had Carolina taking the defense and they had the Washington football team getting a receiver. And I was telling Mo this last week, the Commanders. He was like, I wouldn't want a receiver. I said, I would.
They need one.
Yeah, I would. But I really want that corner out of LSU, Darryl Stingley. I think we can get a really good receiver in the second round. But that's just me. But I really like
they got him on 13.
He falls to the he's around where we're at. I would love to draft him. I think he would solidify the defense.
They got Malik Willis going too to the Lions on here.
Wow.
That has been picking up steam.
For real?
I
asked Jared Goff if he goes to a situation where he can sit and learn. I mean, Jared Goff's he's gonna learn behind him. He's not gonna start over Jared Goff.
So Ian Rappaport was on McAfee yesterday too. And I was listening to that interview and McAfee asked Rappaport about it. And Rappaport has said he had been getting questions from people around the league asking about Malik Willis at 2, and he wasn't sure where it came from. I think it's the DraftKings Sportsbook has Malik Willis as the odds-on favorite right now to be the second pick in the draft.
What?
So Vegas has heard something apparently.
And we're gonna go.
We'll see if there's anything to it.
We're gonna go live.
If you're Detroit, I think you take the pass rusher, but
I think you take the pass rusher. The pass rusher.
If you think Willis is a crazy talented quarterback and you can sit him for a year, maybe 2 if he needs it.
They can get the guy from Michigan, hometown kid, hard worker.
If you can get Hutchinson,
you can get it. You gotta get a pass rusher. You gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's mad if you get TJ Watt the second pick. You know what I'm saying? Or Brian Burns. Like you need a pass rusher.
Yes.
So that's what I would. I hope Malik Willis does go second. I don't foresee it. But we are watching the draft.